On March 20th, 2009, I had a life-changing experience. On that night, I went to my first Eagle ceremony. Brian Strauss is being honored as the newest addition to the long list of Troop 45 Eagle Scouts. After witnessing politicians, scouting officials, and many more honor the hard work Brian did, along with all the effort it took to become an Eagle Scout, I was so moved that I left the ceremony crying. When my mom saw me in tears, she asked if I was hurt or sick. All I could manage was to say was, "That's going to be me. I'm going to be just like Brian Strauss, and I'm going to be an Eagle Scout." I want to extend my first thanks to Brian Strauss, as if he had never made an Eagle Scout, I probably wouldn't be either. My next thanks has to go to my mom. My mom wanted to be as involved as possible to help me find success. To do this, she asked Mrs. Strauss, Brian's mom, for advice. She said, never leave them alone, make sure all their work gets done, and stay on top of them. My mom has done that for the past 6 years of my life straight. My mom was always there for me when I needed help or guidance, and for that I'll always be grateful. My dad was always there for me, but he had a different approach than my mom. He always told me that I should put my head down and go for it, no matter what it is. He said something to me one day that meant so much to me that I wrote it down and hung it next to my bed so I can see it every day when I wake up and every night when I go to bed. Basically, it said I should not try to change myself to make other people like me. If I just be myself, I will gain friends that appreciate me because of my own greatness. My parents have been a huge influence on me since I was born, and I am proud to call them Mom and Dad. I want to thank Mrs. Jamie Tabernite and Mr. Drew Martone, and the surviving members of the Wild Raccoon Patrol, Stephen Foe, Steve Martone, and Daniel Squints Roach. I appreciate Mrs. Tabernite's and Mr. Martone's work with helping about 10 6-year-old boys, and even though half of them didn't make it to the big leagues, if you will, I believe I speak for the ones that did, saying thank you for installing in us the basic ideals needed to become a great scout. I'm happy to say I was able to stay good friends with the guys in my first real patrol. One of them is up here with me, another is one of my patrol members in the leadership corps, and the last one is one of the coolest kids I know. Like many other Cub Scouts, I thought I knew exactly what I was getting myself into when I signed up to be a part of Troop 45. And also, like many Cub Scouts, I was completely blindsided by the intensity and the madness that pushed this group of boys along. This madness has a name, and it is Mr. G. When I first met G, I was taken aback by the commanding way he did everything he ever did. Whether it was pulled pork dinners, Christmas feasts, gateways, or even water polo, I've never seen Mr. G do something halfway. He wanted a Troop 45 wreath on every front door on Long Island. And when that was done, he'd want a centerpiece on every dining room table. My favorite memory involving Mr. G occurred at Turtle House this past December. He and I waged a battle for the ages on top of the long tables in the dining hall. Even though I totally won, I was impressed he was willing to face me. That level of determination is impressive, and I like to think that some of it rubbed off on me. I would also like to thank my friends, my fellow Eagle Scouts, my Northern Tier crew, the Leadership Corps, and those who assisted me in writing Action 45 News, which is pretty good, I have to say. I've had some of my favorite times of my life with you guys. It didn't matter if I was sitting around a campfire, playing dizzy paddle, canoeing on the Blood Vein River in Bissett, or simply building a rope maze in the back room, eating pizza and listening to Crazy Rat. I was always able to enjoy myself and my peers. Chris Muller once told me, there ain't nothing, never mind. However, you all stood by me through my bad times. Some of my darkest moments ever, and never once did any of you leave my side. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. You know who you are. Being a part of the Leadership Corps makes me want to be a better person. Besides my friends, I also have to thank those boys that were in charge of me and led me from my first days as a scout. My patrol leaders, Matt, Jack, Joe, Anthony, Liam, George, Bobby, Nathan, Cameron, and Brian, were always helpful. I went through a lot of difficult times as a scout, and those 10 guys would always lend a hand when I needed it. Whenever an old goat would utter their mantra of, "Hey!" patrol leader. I had no problem going to any of them. My senior patrol leaders, Brian, Kevin, Glenn, Chris, Joe, Cameron, and Brian, always led by example. Even though I was only an assistant senior patrol leader, I could never imagine being the face of the troop like they were. I will always be impressed with the simplicity and efficiency these guys were in the troop with. Although all of those leaders had a beneficial and direct impact on my outcome as an Eagle Scout, there are 3 of those guys that I would be insane not to add in my speech as huge mentors. About 2 years ago, I thought I knew all there was to know in Troop 45. I just finished my time as patrol as a Rough Rider, and I had scouts all figured out. That's what I thought not until I moved into Screaming Eagles Patrol, and I began working with a young, soft-spoken scout named Cameron Dewitt. Cameron redefined what it meant to be a leader. He led a group of off-the-wall kids with such precision and patience that they ended up winning Honor Patrol of the Year. I couldn't comprehend how such an unimposing figure could be filled with such a fire that Scout of the Year, Honor Patrol of the Year, and placing at Klondike Turtle House and summer camp do not quench his thirst for victory. Whenever I think I can't do something, I think about Cameron. And I think about how success is contagious, and sometimes all you need to be a winner is inner focus and power. Thank you, Cameron, for showing me what it means to be a leader. Glenn E. Peters, Lodge Chief Vigil, Eagle Scout with 5 palms, 3-time Senior Patrol Leader, and Scout of the Year. But most importantly, especially to me, he is the Crimson Chin. When I first met Glenn, he was teaching a cooking skill instruction where he was making Chinese food in a bag. By the end of the skill instruction, the plastic bag had melted on the chicken, ruining the meal. Without missing a beat, Glenn told us to clap and cheer like he did something amazing, and then sent us away. Glenn and I have both grown since then. The thing I always admired about Glenn Boy was that he was everybody's friend. He's the personification of friendly, courteous, and kind. I admire Glenn for truly living the Scout oath in his everyday life. He was a guide to me throughout my entire Eagle Scout process, and he's one of my greatest friends of all time. So thank you, Glenn Peters, for showing me what it means to be a Scout. There remains now only one person for me to thank. I came to Mineola when I was about 2 years old. I almost immediately befriended my next-door neighbor, who was only a year older than me. As we grew up together, we both turned into champions, legends, some would say, in our own rights. I am, of course, referring to Anthony Sarno. While many of my current friends have been with me for a long time, only Anthony was there for me at the beginning. He was the one who convinced me to join Troop 45 in the first place. Now, my first troop meeting, he took me around introducing me to all the people he knew. He helped me pack my first backpack. He taught me how to appear like a leader, with a backwards troop hat, sleeveless t-shirts, and high-quality belt buckles. He also gave me my first position of leadership as the founding assistant patrol leader of the Phoenix Patrol. Anthony taught me, or tried to teach me, everything he knew. Besides teaching scout skills, he taught me a very important life lesson. There is nothing that anybody could ever say or do that will make you less of a man. I lived by that saying for my entire life. I'm lucky to have you, Anthony Sarno, as my friend, my patrol member, my guide, and my mentor. Because you're always there for me, good times and bad, with words of advice. I'm going to ask you to come up here to take my mentor's name. There are 2 men that I wish could be here to see me tonight that cannot come. It's my best wishes. Martin Bischoff and Richard Blake, my grandfathers. Both of my grandfathers were involved in scouting, and one of them himself was an Eagle Scout. I like to think of the good times we would have had if they were here today. 3 generations, strong Bischoff men would tear up this place like no one has before. I miss you both terribly, and I know that you smiled down on me tonight, my greatest moment of triumph. The last thing I want to say is very important to me. When I joined the Scouts, I was just a chubby white kid who knew nothing about Scouts. Today, May 29, 2015, I can proudly say that I am now the chubby white kid who has camped at the set West Point, Bear Mountain, Gettysburg, and Annapolis. I learned more than my fair share of scouting knowledge, and I'm able to put it to use nearly every day of my life. I was not always as good as I am right now. I've had some hard times, and I've had some hard times where I've doubted myself. But I never doubted that I would one day become an Eagle Scout. Thank you to everyone who has shown me kindness and helpful hand throughout my career, because it really does mean a lot to me. A lot of people have asked me what I plan on doing in Scouts now that I'm an Eagle. As of right now, I have about 1 year and 3 months until my 18th birthday. To put it simply, I plan on kicking ass, having fun, and rocking and rolling until I can rock no longer. I promise that. I want to leave you with this. The great Theodore Roosevelt once spoke about a man in the arena. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do these deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his places shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." It has been an honor to serve with you, and it has been an honor to be your man in the arena. Thank you all. Good night.